All right, everybody. The wait is finally over. Podcast of a Normal Guy is back for the 10 people that watched it in the first place. My name's Dave, and I want to start off another version, another incarnation of this podcast, a little bit more family friendly. Still going to talk about some cutting sort of things, but anyways, let's just get into stuff here. Only a couple things I wanted to really talk about today. Just to get the ball rolling again. One thing was Blue Jays right here last night. We had the 18 inning marathon game. Wow, that was crazy. I mean, nobody. I can't think of anyone who actually stayed up and was able to watch the whole thing. I certainly did not. But yeah, wow. I mean, honestly, like when you think of this series so far, you're looking at the juggernaut LA Dodgers, and they haven't really scored a lot of runs. Yeah, they've won a couple of games, but it took them 18 innings to win one game, and that was just a home run. And then the other game was a little bit more convincing, but not certainly not Dodgers baseball. Not the Dodgers baseball we've been fed. How they were the Goliath, right? I mean, this is not how this series is playing out. So there's a lot of work to be done, but we're 2-2. It's a 3-game series now, and 2 of those games are going to be in Toronto after the win yesterday, convincing win by the Blue Jays in Los Angeles after that 18-inning marathon. So that's a really good sign. And you know what's going on with Springer. Springer's out. Schneider's been very sort of obtuse, non-conclusive about whether he's going to make it back or not. Personally, I don't think he's going to play tonight in Game 5, I mean. I don't think he's going to play tonight, but they're going to have a break. Like if he'll have a break today, and he'll have a break on the travel day, and so maybe he'll play again in Toronto. I don't know. I don't know whether he's going to start though. That's just me. He might end up coming off the bench or maybe a pinch runner. The injury that he has, it's an oblique thing or something like that. So I mean, it's probably pretty painful to swing the bat and all that kind of stuff. Kind of important. But not Donaldson. He's been gone for a while. But we've had other players obviously come back in. And they're filling the role. I mean, the Blue Jays don't. I mean, this is the difference between the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. You always hear about Ohtani and Yamamoto, like that pitcher that shut us down in Game 2. Oh my God. But you always hear about them. But it's like Toronto is the team. Toronto is the full package, and that's why I think they still have the advantage in this series. I could ramble forever about baseball and what I think is going to happen and all that kind of stuff. But I really do believe that Toronto, like the Blue Jays, really have the momentum right now, which is pissing off all the LA commentators and all that sort of stuff. I watched a couple of shows, and they're not pleased with how the series is going so far, despite the fact that it's 2-2. So anyways, that's my take on the Blue Jays. I don't want to make any predictions. One thing I will say, though, is I'm a very, very superstitious baseball fan. And whenever I watch them, they lose, okay? Like, I swear to God, you ask anyone, most of my friends, my sister, or whatever, I can't watch the games. It makes me upset that I can't watch the games, but I really can't because, even if I turn it on for 2 innings, then you end up having the opposing team score a couple runs or something bad happens. Someone gets injured. I was watching it the other day when Springer got hit. I'm like, oh God, like just stop watching it. So I had to stop watching. Anyways, yeah, very superstitious. I actually have not watched a single full game of these playoffs. Little snippets here and there. For example, I mean, I was at the baseball game the Tiger Cat game that just passed when they played Ottawa. I was a season's ticket holder, and I have obviously I was there, but they showed game. I guess it was, what game was it? Was it the first game? Yeah, the very first game. They showed game 1 on the big screen after the game. In Hamilton, they do this thing, families on the field. So after all the home games, you can run out in the field with your kids or whatnot and throw a ball around. And it's awesome too because some of the players come out, like the opposing players. Like there was a couple of Ottawa players that came out throwing the ball around with their kids because they traveled with them. It's pretty neat. So anyways. But while that's going on, they're showing the Blue Jays game. And I was there when the Grand Slam got hit. And, got some company. There when the Grand Slam got hit. And it was really cool. yeah, it was really cool to see. Um, but I mean, again, like maybe it's just because I have to be with people. I don't know. If I'm watching it by myself, maybe that's where the jinx is. I haven't been able to figure it out. But anyways, I can tell you truthfully, Game 5, I will not be watching. I might look in the score, look in on a score every once in a while, but I don't think I'll be watching it. I'll just watch the highlights after. Anyways, that's it for baseball for now. Also today, I did want to talk about CFL. So right now, what we have in the CFL is the playoffs starting, and so we have a crossover this year. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they're going to come over and play Montreal. So Montreal, and I'm just going to talk about the East for now. Montreal and the Blue Bombers are going to play, and then the winner of that plays the Tiger Cats because we won the division with our win against Ottawa. I don't know. As far as the Cats go, pardon me, with the playoffs, I'm a little nervous about them. I mean, when they were playing like Ottawa, I mean, I like Ottawa. Okay, like I have no, I'm not throwing tons of shade at Ottawa, but this is not their year. Okay, they didn't have a good year, and they have a team that we should have crushed. Okay, like I mean, just the way they're playing, they have a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong, but we should have crushed them. And there was a few, and we had 6 interceptions in that game. So, but a few of those interceptions were not for touchdowns. Like when we got the ball on offense, they got to kick field goals, which is amazing because our field goal kicker Legio is like, knock on wood, near perfect. Okay, like this guy, he doesn't miss. But in the playoffs, you want touchdowns, not all field goals. I mean, if it's a tight game, if defenses are playing well, fine, okay. But Ottawa's defense was not playing well, and Hamilton's offense was finding ways to screw itself out of getting touchdowns. So, anyways, you can't do that in playoffs, right? You can't do that in playoffs. You can't play the Bombers or Montreal and not capitalize on what limited turnovers you're going to have from them anyway. So, anyways, we got to watch this week. It's going to be Winnipeg and Montreal, and that's going to play Hamilton. I can't remember who's hosting whom in the West. I know BC's got to play Calgary. I think BC's at home. Don't quote me on that, okay? But I think BC is going to play Calgary, and then the winner of that's going to play Saskatchewan. My thing this year is, I mean, Saskatchewan's pretty darn good, but lately they've been a little bit beatable, and they've rested players. So that is not a good solution for the playoffs. I never thought that was a good thing for the playoffs. Hamilton was playing their starters because we had to right to the very end. Even though Hamilton was, switching back to the East for a second, even though Hamilton should have clinched earlier and they sort of got in their own way a bit, that's the silver lining is they were still playing all their starters right to the end. So they're healthy, they're like current, you know what I mean? Like they've just played a game. And they've just clinched. They didn't clinch and then rest on the laurels for a couple of weeks like Saskatchewan has. Switching back to the West now, so that's the thing about Saskatchewan, right? They're going to be beatable because they've just been sitting around doing nothing. I mean, of course they haven't been, but they've rested people, and I mean, that's the old thing in sports. I mean, you got to play. You got to practice and play to stay sharp, and I think that's going to go against Saskatchewan. And I got to be honest with you, BC is red hot right now. And I think that they're gonna win the West, but that's just me. I think it's gonna be BC. My heart's saying Hamilton, but I have a feeling it might be Montreal again. It might end up being Montreal, BC in the Grey Cup. As much as I want Hamilton to win, if they get their stuff together for the Eastern Final, they'll be in it. But they're going to be in it deep against either BC or Saskatchewan. So, anyways, it's the CFL, and in the CFL. The team that's not supposed to win always wins. Like you get these juggernaut teams from the West, and all of a sudden the East team beats them in the playoffs, or even in the Grey Cup. So, anyways, that's enough for football for now. I have my own dedicated channel for the Tiger Cats, although I've been neglecting it lately. I'll have to do something with it before the Eastern Final. But I wanted to move on to one more thing, political thing. Well, there's a couple, but the first one it's a Canadian-grown thing. I'm really upset to hear that in Alberta, Danielle Smith's government has used a notwithstanding clause to force teachers back to work. This is just kicking the can down the road. All the grievances that exist now will still be there, and so they're basically using that clause to force a contract on them. I've seen it happen in Ontario before, and it gets very bitter. You're going to have work to rule and those sorts of things out there. It's going to be a very bitter situation, and it sucks because the only group that suffers is the kids, And I find that the Alberta government is using that too much to their advantage, saying, "Oh well, it's the teachers. They're forcing all this on the kids. The kids aren't learning." And anyways, it's the same story in Ontario. Teachers get blamed for pretty well everything. Meanwhile, they're just trying to do their job. They're trying to do their job the best they can. And I have found, my opinion only. I mean, a lot of people will disagree with me, but most of the grievances the teachers have had in Ontario and in this situation in Alberta, they are very valid. It's not about pay. Everyone thinks it's about pay. It's not about pay. Teachers get paid well. They have a great, in Ontario, I'm talking about at least great unions. They have great benefits. It's a great job. Of course, they get all the time off that they get. Even though some teachers I know some teachers that would be okay just having a couple blocks off at a time instead of all at once. I don't know. Maybe down the road that's something that gets done. But for now, they get summers and all the holidays and whatever. And all the people that complain about that, be a teacher then. I'd like to see all those people who complain. I'd see you last 1 week as a teacher, 1 week, and then you'll understand why they want holidays off, like the holidays. Now you'll understand why they get as worn out and stressed out as they do, because they got to deal with a bunch of yous. It's not the kids a lot of times, it's the parents. But I'm not a teacher, so I'm going to shut up because what do I know? We have to get some teachers in here to weigh in. I don't want to overplay my hand here. But yeah, I'm just upset about the stuff the situation, to go back to the beginning there, upset about what's happening in Alberta. I think it's wrong. They need to negotiate. They need to get a good contract. They need to figure stuff out because they didn't figure anything out, and that any bitterness that there is just going to stay. The other thing I wanted to talk about today was the whole, and I don't know, a little bit of conspiracy theorist is coming out in me on this one a little bit. And maybe the facts are out now and I just haven't read or seen it yet. But I know I was going to talk about Doug Ford and that advertisement, the ad that he ran, the Reagan thing, right? So using the Reagan speech on tariffs and using that to basically shine Trump on about what an idiot he's being about tariffs. So the timing, it showed in the States during the World Series. Everybody knows what happened. It pissed Trump off, and then Trump wanted to did raise tariffs against Canada because he's a thin-skinned idiot. So anyways, I don't know who gave Doug Ford the authority to do that. Somebody told him to do that. Doug Ford is a lot of things, intelligent and intuitive and whatever other adjectives you want to use. They're not one of them. So somebody told him to do that. Somebody told him it was a good idea to do that. Everyone, well, not just everyone. I think Mark Carney gave him the green light to do that because they're kind of buddy-buddy. Because maybe Mark Carney knew what was going to happen. Because even Carney was shining Trump on in Asia. Like he was talking about something else, and he ended up using the accordion hands and sort of mocking how Trump talks a tiny little bit. So it was actually really funny. But I don't know what the whole story is with that. It almost seems like it was planned to piss Trump off to get his reaction leading into an important set of meetings in Asia, because Carney right now is trying to get a bunch of deals with countries over. I don't know which, okay? I'm ignorant. I don't know what this conference is all about, okay? So I know China's one of them, and I don't know. I know he was in Singapore? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but he's trying to get some deals put together, and it's kind of fitting, and it makes his hand a little bit stronger if you make Trump have a meltdown right before he goes to Asia too. Just saying, I don't know whether any of that's true or not, but it just kind of looks, the optics are a little fishy on that, where I don't care. I think it's awesome. Like, I'm not criticizing. I'm not criticizing at all, because I am not a Trump lover. I can't stand that whole administration. They're making America burn into the ground right now, and they're going to take other countries with them. Well, Carney's being smart and trying to diversify and get other business in from other countries. I mean, Canada is a great big country geographically, but we don't have a big economy compared to the United States and China and other countries. So we need Carney to go and secure some deals outside of the American markets for us. I mean, and the American market's going to come back. I mean, for all of this, our relationship with the United States right now is very tenuous, but it's not always going to be. I mean, it can't be that way. right? It's not always going to be that way. You might get a more sympathetic government in the States, and some of that business is going to come back. But I guess the point Carney's trying to make is it can never be, we can never get ourselves in the position we were in when Trump took over, because the whole point is no matter how stable the relationship is, all you need is one lunatic like Trump to ruin it all. So, and then you're in a spot if you don't have other options, right? So I think that's the whole point of what Carney's doing. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty well all I had today. I mean the world is moving quickly, things are moving very quickly. Trump is very quickly ripping down the White House, which is another thing I won't get into, but it's just I have no words for that. It just what he's doing and how he's doing it. It's not only what he's doing; it's how he's doing it. Is incredible. I'm gonna stop, but I do want to talk. I think there's another round of the No Kings protest planned for. I don't know whether it's early in the new year or whenever it is, but I'm watching that very closely, and I'm also starting to pay attention to the warm up for the midterm elections next year. That's going to have a huge impact on what's going on in the States and how things are going to affect Canada going forward. So, anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Have a great day. I'm Dave. This is the rebooted podcast of a normal guy, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.